There's something terrifying happening in the Premier League right now, and somehow people still aren't talking about it enough. Benjamin Šeško is becoming the striker Manchester United fans have been begging for since the days of prime Zlatan and early Ronaldo. And honestly, the scary part is that he's only just getting started. Because when United signed Šeško for £74 million from RB Leipzig, the expectations were massive. This was supposed to be the modern number 9, the complete striker, the physical monster who could finally lead the line at Old Trafford for the next decade. But at the start of the season, it looked like another expensive mistake. Under Ruben Amorim, things just never fully clicked. The system felt awkward for him, the service into the box was inconsistent, and there were games where he looked completely disconnected from the attack. One week he'd look like the best young striker in Europe, bullying defenders, smashing shots from distance, dominating in the air. Then the next game he'd miss easy chances and disappear for 70 minutes. Add injuries into the mix, and suddenly the criticism started building fast. 2 goals in the opening stretch of the season wasn't what fans expected from a £74 million striker. Social media was already doing what it always does, calling him another flop before the guy even had time to settle into the league. And to be fair, adapting to the Premier League as a striker is brutal, especially when you're 6'5" and every defender treats you like some kind of final boss battle. The physicality is different, the pace is different, and when you play for Manchester United, every single touch gets analyzed by millions of people. But even during those difficult months, you could still see flashes of what made Europe obsessed with this guy in the first place. Because players his size are not supposed to move like that. They're not supposed to accelerate that quickly, glide past defenders, or hit shots with that kind of power off both feet. Šeško isn't just tall, he's athletic in a way that genuinely doesn't make sense. He looks like the result of somebody building the perfect striker in a football lab. Pace, strength, aerial dominance, technique, long shots, link-up play, he has almost everything. Then everything changed. The arrival of Michael Carrick completely transformed him. And honestly, this is where the Premier League should start getting worried, because Carrick simplified things. Under Amorim, United often looked slow and overcomplicated in possession. Šeško would make runs and nobody would find him. Crosses came too late, transitions died before they even started. But Carrick immediately leaned into direct football. Faster transitions, quicker passing, more aggressive movement around the box, and suddenly, Šeško looked alive. At first it started with substitute appearances. Little cameos that completely changed games. A goal against Fulham, another against West Ham, then Everton. Every time he came on he looked hungry, aggressive, dangerous. Defenders were exhausted trying to deal with him physically, and the moment there was space in behind, it was over. You could actually feel his confidence growing game by game. And confidence is everything for strikers. Once they start believing every chance is going in, the whole game changes. Suddenly Šeško wasn't hesitating anymore. He was attacking crosses with conviction, taking shots earlier, using his body better, timing his runs perfectly. The goal against Crystal Palace really summed up the evolution perfectly. That towering header was just unfair. The leap, the power, the timing, defenders looked helpless. And that's the scary thing about him. You can defend him well for 89 minutes and he'll still find one moment to destroy you. He's becoming one of those strikers where you can't switch off for even a second. What makes him such a nightmare, though, is that he's not one-dimensional. A lot of big strikers get stereotyped as target men who just stand in the box waiting for crosses. Šeško is way more complete than that. He can drop deep and link play, he can carry the ball in transition, he can drift wide and combine with the wingers. He presses defenders aggressively and actually works hard off the ball. There are moments where he looks like an old-school number 9 mixed with a modern technical forward, and that combination is terrifying when it starts clicking consistently. Because usually players with elite technical ability aren't physically dominant monsters, and physically dominant monsters usually aren't this technically clean. Šeško somehow has both. And this is why so many clubs wanted him before United got the deal done. Arsenal were heavily linked. Newcastle wanted him badly. Pretty much every top club looking for a striker had him on their shortlist. Because even back at Salzburg and Leipzig, the potential was obvious. 39 goals in 87 games doesn't even fully tell the story, because scouts were obsessed with the profile more than the raw numbers. Coaches looked at him and saw a player who could eventually become unstoppable with the right development. a striker that defenders physically cannot handle once he matures mentally and tactically. United took the gamble because they desperately needed somebody like that. Højlund had struggled with consistency, Xerxes never fully convinced as a pure goal scorer, and the team lacked presence inside the box. There were so many matches last season where United would dominate possession but look completely harmless in the final third. Crosses into the area felt pointless because nobody attacked them aggressively. Now, every delivery into the box feels dangerous, and you can already see the chemistry building around him. Bruno Fernandes looks revitalized, playing with a striker who actually attacks the spaces he creates. Kuna's movement around him has been excellent too. Even United's transitions feel more threatening because Šeško gives defenders something to panic about. The moment United win the ball, center-backs immediately start dropping deeper because they know he can destroy them in a foot race despite his size. That changes the entire shape of the opposition defense. It creates space for everyone else. The stats are beginning to back it up too. His goal-per-minute ratio has exploded under Carrick. His aerial win percentage is among the best in the league. Shot accuracy has improved massively compared to earlier in the season. But honestly, even the numbers don't fully capture the feeling when you watch him now. There's an aura building around him. Old Trafford has started believing again every time he gets near the box. And you can tell defenders hate playing against him. He's too strong to outmuscle, too quick to recover against, and too tall to dominate aerially. Most strikers have one clear weakness defenders can target. With Šeško, there aren't many obvious answers once he's confident. Now, to be clear, he's not perfect yet. There are still moments where his finishing can be inconsistent. Tight angle chances sometimes expose that he's still developing composure at the highest level. There are games where his first touch can get messy under pressure. But that's the frightening part. He's already this dangerous, while still unfinished as a player. He hasn't even entered his prime years yet. This is still a young striker learning the league, learning his teammates, and learning how to dominate consistently. And if Carrick keeps developing this version of Manchester United around him, the rest of the Premier League genuinely has a problem on its hands. Because dominant number 9s are coming back into football again. For years, the game moved toward false 9s and fluid systems where strikers dropped deep constantly. But now teams are realizing how devastating a complete physical striker can be when combined with technical quality. Haaland changed the conversation. Isak elevated it further. And now, Šeško looks like he could be the next evolution of that archetype. A giant who can run, a target man who can dribble, a finisher who can create. Those players are rare, extremely rare. And the scariest thing of all, he's finally starting to look comfortable at Manchester United. The pressure isn't crushing him anymore. The shirt looks lighter on him now. The confidence is growing every single week, and once strikers like this fully believe they belong at the top level, that's when they become unstoppable. So yeah, the Premier League might genuinely have a serious Benjamin Šeško problem. And if this is only the beginning, defenders across England better start preparing now, because this monster is only getting warmed up.